What's up, dirtbags? Welcome to episode 120 of the Midwest Angler Podcast. Scott Sturman, Matt Deitch.
We're here.
We are here. Matt, I got to ask you, do you think Scott Merwin is regretting trying to egg you on in the Photoshop department?
I don't know if he's regretting it. I think that he's happy it happened because he messaged me a couple other ones and asked me to make some of his buddies.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think right away, I think at first he might have been, but I think he was expecting other people to be on board with it and follow suit. But I think a lot of people were sitting by their screens of their phones or by their computers or whatever, sweating kind of bullets because it's like, do I go in or do I not?
I think they realized as my son says, you don't want any of that smoke. There's something like that.
Young Garrett Cox found out pretty fast. So.
Yeah. He got himself a spanking. Good old-fashioned Mullen cowboy spanking.
Brad Baker, he tried to get in on it too.
Did he really?
Yeah, and I just was looking at my phone before we started, and he just threw one out there right now too that he must have used the same app that I did. It's a pretty good one. It's from The Christmas Story. So.
Okay.
No, it was a lot of fun.
He's attempting. Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah. No, it was fun.
You had a good one.
Yeah. I mean, it was all right. It was not. It wasn't quite up to par with what you were throwing out there. And if you guys do not know what we're talking about, you guys all know that we do a lot of this goofy photoshopping, if you want to call it that. Face swaps, and just putting our faces on different people and whatever, having a whole lot of fun. And Scott Merwin decided that he wanted to try to take a couple shots. He actually tried to designate this last Saturday as taking shots at Matt Day. And like we said, it just it did not work out the way he thought it was gonna.
I started as soon as he put that post up the other day. I started loading. I started getting the ammo ready to go.
Oh yeah, I figured you would. I mean, I feel like you've already got 1,000 on your phone right now.
I probably have way too many of those darn things on my phone.
Merwin, you do not want to give him any extra time to get loaded up.
Yeah, that's what he should have done it on Friday. Although I did have a lot of them ready to go right away.
I'm sure.
Because I sent you some of them beforehand just to test the waters. But no, it was a lot of fun.
Yep, no doubt about it. That was a cool event.
A lot of people, I think, wanted it to keep going, but
yeah. Oh, I don't think it's done. I don't think it's done by any stretch. I'm just gonna sit back and grab my popcorn and watch the shots. Watch the shots. Matt, did you watch any of the head-to-head fishing?
I did happen to catch some of it. I had that on, and what else was
Bassmaster Open?
The Bassmaster Open was on too, but that wasn't going live. Oh, I did watch some of the MLF.
What?
So I had a little bit of that playing side by side because I was watching a lot of walleye fishing, and I started to kind of be like, holy buckets, I need to throw a little bass fishing on too. So watching those guys hand lined, I was getting kind of bored with that. So I was like, I need to see somebody cast again.
Was that one of those MLF Big Five tournaments?
Yes, I believe so.
And if I'm not 100%, I'm not 100% sure, but is that a ex-Minnesota fella that won that?
No, not that one. That was you're thinking of a BFL, I think, an MFL, like MLF BFL down in Florida where David Paycheck.
Is that how you pronounce that?
I think it's Paycheck or Paycheck or something like
that.
I
hope it's Paycheck.
Oh, it is. If it's Paycheck, I mean, it's got to be.
I hope it's Paycheck.
That's the one he won down there, but
it kind of looks like Pachechek.
Right. But this one was like Alton Jones won it. So
okay. Well, not interested.
Right. But no, the head-to-head, I watched quite a bit of it. It was a lot of fun to actually watch it because it was kind of my style of walleye fishing.
Right,
so.
Right. No, what is it? No live
bait, I believe.
And apparently you can troll.
Yeah, you can troll and all that.
You can troll.
Stuff,
okay. It kind of goes back. Doug Burns. I don't know how many episodes that was. Probably 60 episodes ago. Doug Burns said if walleye fishing wants to get more mainstream, They got to make people, get rid of the live bait, get rid of trolling, have people standing on the front of their boats casting and,
Right.
do some real action. And, then walleye fishing could, gain some popularity and be more fun to watch. And I would say it's getting there.
I think
I
so,
really
too.
think they're onto something here with this head-to-head.
They are. I mean, it's just like with the bass stuff, they start doing the live, and at first people are kind of like, well, okay, yeah. But then pretty soon people start tuning in because they want to see how these guys are fishing, and you learn so much from it because the guys are so willing to talk about it, like when they're fishing. I mean, they're obviously not going to give all their secrets up, but they're telling it like what they're doing out there, so anybody can kind of take it to their local fishery and give it a try.
Right. And once again, this is one of those deals where you get to know these guys' personalities.
Right.
You get to you watch these guys for 3-4 days in a row and you kind of feel like you know them. You don't, but you feel like you do. And, it's like, oh, man, like that Max Wilson, he's a pretty cool cat.
Right.
Yeah, well, he is, and so I don't know. Then you find yourself kind of going for Max Wilson, and there's not 100 different people involved.
Right, yeah.
I think that's more the key too. If you watch this for 2 days straight, and I don't know how many guys was there, 12, 14?
Something like that.
You get to, by the middle of day 2, you start recognizing the guys, like, oh yeah, that was the guy that caught that fish yesterday, whatever. And I think that's the key. These guys are starting a brand. They're, and what I mean by brand is, Max Wilson, his brand, Joe Okada, his brand,
Yep.
A lot of these guys already fish the NWT and fish different tournament trails, whatever. But, this is something that's really putting it out there for people. And I think it's getting received pretty well.
Right. And I think it's great for walleye fishing because, people know some of those like well-known walleye fishermen on the tour, but they don't know a lot of them. Like, if you really think about it, like with bass fishermen, most bass fans can sit down and rattle off probably the majority of the people that are on like the Elite Series tour.
I can tell you where they're from.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. And you get going with all that stuff, and now walleye fishing, if they can start getting some, they got such talented fishermen in there to start getting some of those names out there, and just like you said, growing their brand, growing the sport of walleye fishing. The sky is really the limit because up in this area, it is.
It's king.
Walleye is king. So.
Yep. Let's be honest. Nick Schertz wins this thing. Nick Schertz from Tomahawk, Wisconsin.
Right.
I didn't know who he was before this. And now he's, now he's a regular old household name in the walleye. He wins another one of these, and, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, dude, that,
Well,
he's
you think a guy,
one of the heavy hitters.
Right. You think about a guy like Corey Sprangle or somebody like that. Like, if, how good they are on the walleye tour, imagine if they were that good on the bass tour and how many people would know them.
Oh,
and
for sure.
like,
For sure.
how big their name would be. He is. He's a huge name in the walleye fishing industry. But, it's just, I don't know. It's just something about it. I still think it's kind of like with the walleye industry, it's just kind of like they're so secretive. They don't want anybody to know their secrets a lot of the times, it seems like.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I really think that this all goes back to people keep walleye, people don't keep bass.
Right.
You don't want to go and tell somebody where you're catching all these walleye because they're going to text all their friends, and tomorrow, they're gonna fish the place out.
Right.
And, with bass, I don't know. Maybe it's reversed down in Alabama.
Yeah, who knows?
There's so many guys that are down there trying to fish bass that, you don't even dare tell them where you caught them because,
Right.
Joe Schmo and his, 24 buddies are coming there tomorrow. I don't know.
So did you watch a lot of the head-to-head, catch some of it?
I'll be honest, I really didn't. With work, I had it going a couple times, and, I tried to kind of watch, when I could, in between stuff. And, it didn't really work that well. I would have liked to have watched more, but, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I see a ton of it. I'd have it playing in my office, going in there, and then, like, yeah, pretty soon I'd look in there and there'd be a couple kids standing in there just staring at the screen watching it, which is cool. I mean, I think it's kind of neat that they thought it was that it was awesome that there was fishing going on. But
and then you'd walk back out there and say, "Hey guys, class is today. Why don't you guys just play tag for a little while?
Yeah, we're gonna put this up on the projection screen in the gym." No. But no, I mean, I catch it in between classes a little bit of it. But no, it was all right. I mean, did you like the format that they did? You like that kind of like?
I do. I like the bracket. We had just talked about this here the other day. Do you remember?
Right.
I said if they did like a March Madness style bracket, on Spirit Lake, and everyone showed up, and you got paired up, or you got seated, and one versus number 8, you head on out there, you do what you do, and I don't know. I think I love it. I think it's because.
So you like the catch, weigh, release format for walleyes?
It's freaking walleyes.
I know. I'm just trying to get you riled up with the
You're
catch,
a
weigh,
freaking
release,
moron.
Catch, weigh, release tournament stuff here. So
no, I said I liked the bracket.
Okay,
I liked the bracket.
You were hoping that they were gonna do some hook shots and throw a couple off the big engine on the back of the boat when they were releasing them.
I'm just saying, I bet you frickin' double the people would have tuned in if there was a weigh-in at the end and they could watch a weigh-in. Just telling you.
It's just
is what it is.
Well, that's the thing now. I mean, hopefully with the walleye thing, with like this head-to-head, some of the other tours might be able to get on board and do some live coverage like that, because the NWT, you get to see their tournaments during the winter time or during this time of the year when they do their shows and stuff like that.
Do they have a show?
They don't necessarily have a show. It just seems like, like Fish Addictions, they had series go where they followed Mike and Drake around on the tour. So, and then they released theirs like late in the winter, early in the spring. So you really don't get to see like what's going on, and there's not, I don't know if they could get on board with maybe doing a fantasy fishing thing, just try to get their brand going a little bit more.
Well, I mean, for NWT, I mean, if you have live coverage, I personally believe that you would be able to pay for all the live coverage stuff in no time, because you're gonna showcase sponsors.
Right.
I mean, this replay of the day brought to you by, I don't know, Dakota Angler in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, come out to us for all your live bait needs. Like whatever, I mean.
Right.
I mean, if it's out in Chamberlain this coming weekend, the 29th and 30th at Chamberlain. I mean, the Chamberlain area Chamber of Commerce, I mean, the bottle shop, Chamberlain McDonald's, Chamberlain Holiday Inn. Like, I mean, all these people have a chance to, someplace in Chamberlain, showcase what Chamberlain's got. I mean, if you're going to come out here and fish because you're watching, Brennan Lockwood smack them, come out and sign up, for a guide trip through Dakota Prairie or whoever, whatever Brennan guides for. I mean, and stay at the Holiday Inn and, do this, eat here, whatever. All these people could, I don't know. I feel like they're missing the ball there.
Well, right. I mean, if Bass can go out to Pierre, South Dakota and have success, on putting on a show out there, like we said, with walleye being king around here, I mean, you think that it could be a huge event out there.
It's sponsored by Cabela's.
Right.
Zoned by Johnny Morris.
Yeah. I mean, he ain't hurting for money. So.
Johnny, quit putting frickin' money into the stupid MLF and frickin' put money into something that might actually grow.
Right. Yeah,
growing the sport.
He could dominate the country if you think about that. Because if walleye is the king in the north and bass is the king in the south, pump all that money into that and then to the Elite Series Tour and all that, and you're controlling the country now with all your stuff.
I think that's what he's trying to do.
He probably he does, but
yeah, I was gonna say, old boy's got some cash, but
no, hopefully it can keep going and get popular and catch on. Like you said, this head-to-head stuff it's a lot of fun.
Yep, it's something new, and
a lot of guys. I mean, we all know who Max Wilson is, but like you said, there's a bunch of other guys that were able to showcase their talents on it that a lot of us have never heard their names before.
Right. Now, Matt, hold that thought on the head-to-head fishing and the bracket. Now I want to talk about one other thing here.
All right.
Did you see anything about the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren boxing match?
I've seen a lot of stuff leading up to it with just the Jake Paul thing and him talking all this trash, and I wish that an MMA fighter could actually get in a real MMA fight with him and just kick the tar out of him.
Well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But so Jake Paul, I guess I'm not even 100% sure exactly if Jake Paul was like, I know he's a YouTuber, but I don't know if like he played video games or if what he did. But Jake Paul is apparently a pretty big deal on the YouTube scene, made millions and millions of dollars. And apparently he decided that he was going to get into boxing. So he started boxing, and I don't know who he beat up the first time, but he won his first one. And then he frickin' went and fought Nate Robinson.
Right.
That frickin'
ex-NBA player.
Ex-NBA player. Dude's like 5'2".
Right.
Frickin' Jake Paul weighed in at 197 pounds the other night. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, okay, pal. But, so, whatever. He beat up Nate Robinson. And so Saturday night he took on Ben Askren. And Ben Askren was a decorated collegiate wrestler, tried his hand at MMA, fighting in the UFC. I don't know if he won a couple of them or not, but end up fighting that Jorge Masvidal, and that was the one where Askren came running across the cage. Jorge jumped up in the air, kneed him in the head, and put him right on out, and that ended his UFC career. That was it. That was done. So I guess he decided, hey, let's try boxing. Well, I guess the only reason that Ben Askren was decent at MMA was because he could take people down and wrestle them and into a submission. Well, when you don't got to worry about a guy taking you down, you don't really got to worry about much of anything. So Jake Paul, who's been training in boxing for like the last 2-3 years, whatever, beat old Ben Askren up in the first round, put him down, and blah blah blah. But, I mean, what I'm trying to say here, guys, is sometimes when you do, I mean, there's guys that are really good at football.
Right.
There's an outside chance I could beat Tom Brady at basketball.
Right.
I mean, he's just because he's a spectacular athlete doesn't mean that,
It doesn't transfer over to everything.
Right. And just because it's a combat sport doesn't mean that, you're good at all combat sports. And what it also means is just because you're good at fishing, it doesn't mean that you're for sure good at eating chicken wings.
That's right. Some hot wings.
Eating chicken wings, you heard. We've got a bracket. We're going back to that head-to-head fishing. We've got ourselves a bracket, and I randomly just picked these names, and now I'm going to ask Matt, who's going to win in eating chicken wings?
Chicken wings.
Are these going to be spicy wings?
Oh, I don't know. Should we make them spicy or should we make them mild?
We're just going to go mild. Go mild. I mean, this is strictly going to be just, a flat-out eating competition. Who can eat the most in 5 minutes or who can eat the most, like, in a whole entire sitting?
No, we'll go in 5 minutes.
Okay, fair enough. So, like I said, I just randomly picked out 8 anglers that I feel like everybody should possibly know. I went on my phone and I selected in no particular order, put them into a bracket. So we're going to get started here. First and foremost, Matt, Jason Mitchell versus Corey Sprangle. Who can eat more wings in 5 minutes?
I'm going to go with Sprangle. Just because of the youth.
Are you serious?
Yep, I'm going with the youth movement.
Not a freaking chance.
No, I'm going with Sprangle. He looks like one of those. He looks like one of those little guys that like is kind of like
Kobayashi.
Right, skinnier, and you're just underestimating that. I just think that
there ain't no way
he's a competitor.
Ain't no way.
Yep.
Ain't no way.
I'm going with Sprangle. You're obviously going with Jason Mitchell.
I was sitting here thinking like, I'll ask you, we'll agree on most things. There is no way that a freaking country boy like Jason Mitchell from up in freaking North Dakota is going to lose a wing eating competition. He'll freaking eat more wings in 5 minutes and drink more beers than Sprangle has. Jason Mitchell has freaking spilled more barbecue sauce down his chin than Corey Sprangle's had in his whole entire life. Guaranteed.
I don't know about that. I'm going with Sprangle. You got your reasons, I got my reasons. So there we go.
Oh my
We don't
gosh.
have to agree on it.
But how are we going to do this if... All right. So
Got a coin?
Nope.
Flip a coin.
Nope. So you're taking Corey. I'm taking Jason. All right. Next one up. Ted Takasaki versus our buddy Little Craigie XL Oiler.
Craigie XL Oiler and Ted. I'm going to go with Craigie on this one.
You're going with...
Yep.
You know,
we've eaten with both of them.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Craig's eaten
Takasaki shared a salmon plate, I think, with his wife when we were there. Craigie's got this one. I'll agree with you.
Right.
I'll agree with you. I would have thought that possibly like in a 5-minute deal. I feel
we've
like
eaten wings. We've eaten wings with Craig before.
Yeah, we did.
He's a winner. He's a wing guy. He's a winger.
Gold. I think gold is his flavor.
Yep.
At Cherry Creek in Sioux Falls, we should like have a freaking get together at Cherry Creek sometime.
We need to.
Who knows? Maybe we can invite all these dudes
and
to
we
Sioux
can
Falls
have
and have this like for real. And I'll show you that Jason Mitchell would frickin' spank Sprangle.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just said right. You're starting to agree with me. All right, Craigie on that one. All right, next up, Mike Olson from Fish Addictions or Seth Fighter?
Oh, Mike did lose all that weight.
Mike lost a bunch of weight?
Oh yeah, he lost a bunch of weight, dropped a bunch of pounds, but I'm still gonna go with Mike to put him down. Is what I'm gonna go.
I agree.
I just think that Seth's gonna have to take too many ciggy breaks.
I was gonna say
have to take a couple.
I'll bet you Fighter could down 20 smokes before Mike Olson could down 20 wings.
He'd probably be having a few Miller Lights or something in between.
Miller?
I don't know
what he's...
I don't know. Maybe it's a Miller Lite guy.
Fighter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Up north like that, that's... I don't know. Back in the day when we used to have parties, Michelob Golden Light was what all the Minnesota...
Yeah. That's what we need to do sometime is we need to get a list of anglers and like try to pick what beer would be their beer of choice.
Ooh, I like that. I think we're going to go through and do that here right away when we're done with this. All right, so we agreed Mike Olson on that one.
That's right.
Mike Olson. All right, last one here before we get into the semis. Brian Brosdale or James Holst?
I'm going bro.
Bro would smush him
all the way.
Bro would eat 4-1. That's take that to the bank.
He just seems like he's one of those guys that could probably just do one in like one, the whole put it in their mouth and just pull out 2 bones.
Those people are badass.
Oh, I know. It's just like, when you bring out a plate of wings and somebody grabs one and puts the whole thing in their mouth and comes out with 2 clean bones, you're just like, I ain't messing with this guy. I'm not messing with him.
Like when you do that, you get that like goofy gristle that's like down on the joints and whatnot. Like there's dudes that just freaking eat that right on with it. Everything. Like ain't no big deal, man. Ain't no big deal.
That's how you can tell a true wing eater from a non-wing eater is when they bring it out there and the wing eater, he grabs it, boom, right away. The non-wing eater, you know what his first move is?
Split.
No, to ask for extra wet wipes.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, this dude ain't no wing eater.
Yeah.
If you're asking for extra wet wipes before you even start, it's like, get out of here. Get out of here.
I remember my first wing. All right. We're back up to the top.
To the semis.
All right. So I'll ask you, Corey Sprangle or Craig Euler?
Euler again.
You're going Euler again.
Yep. Just because we've eaten wings with him, so I know.
All right. So you got Euler. I'm gonna in my head. I don't know. I feel like Jason Mitchell could beat Craig Euler in a wing eating competition.
See, I'm just looking at Jason as like the guy that's like kind of getting up there in age now that he's kind of got to watch what he eats and he's got to start thinking about his health as he gets older and everything like that. Oh my God, I cannot believe that you're saying this type of stuff because I literally was going to try to get Jason Mitchell on in the next couple weeks here,
And if he catches wind that you're talking trash on his age and
trash
health,
on
health like that.
I didn't say that it was bad. I'm just saying that he's starting to get up there, that he's just maybe thinking like, well, okay, maybe, I can't eat like I used to when I was younger. And see, Corey, he's a young guy. He don't give a crap. He's just like, I'm eating him. So
Didn't Toby Keith say, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was, or something like that?
Yeah.
All right, so you're going Oiler. You know what?
I'm still going Oiler.
I'll take Oiler over Jason Mitchell. I will. If it was an Indian leg wrestling, I'd take Jason Mitchell, but wing eating, we'll go ahead and we'll go Oiler. Like you said, he had a lot of practice when him and Dan Hogue were living together and
it sounded
wings
like
all the time.
Night.
All right, Mike Olson, Brian Brosdale.
I'm gonna go with Mike again.
Going with Mike. Is it because of Bro's age? Are you like? I mean, is it because of his age and like you're kind of a little bit worried about his health?
No, I'm just going with Mike on this one. I just think that Mike can put him down.
I agree. I'm going with Mike Olson also. All right, championship round: Craigie XL versus Mike Fish Addictions Oiler for the wing eating championship of the Midwest.
Going Oiler.
You are.
I'm giving Oiler some love. I'm going Oiler.
You must think extra brownie points with him.
No, I don't need any extra brownie points with him, but I'm just thinking, again, I've eaten wings with him before, so I know his game.
He's good.
Yeah, he's
good.
He didn't show any shame.
These aren't boneless wings.
No, these are wings.
If you talk with somebody and they're telling you that they're really about it wing eater, kind of like asking for extra wet naps. If they order boneless,
they're just a casual one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, that. Hey, I mean, no harm, no foul. I mean, that's fine. But you're no big shot in the wing world.
Right.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of like when you show up to a fishing tournament and you're telling somebody that you're really you're a pretty hardcore fisherman and you show up with a Zebco.
Right.
I mean, hey, you might be able to catch them, but you're not the best.
You know what I'm judging this win on? Anybody that can come face to face with a mountain lion over a turkey is going to be able to eat some wings.
I agree.
If that turkey
you'll do a lot for a bird.
Yep. If that turkey means that much to you, to go crawling in right behind the old mountain lion, face to face with one, you're eating wings.
I agree. Where's the best wings?
The best wings that I've had, Cherry Creek does make a darn good wing.
Freaking awesome.
I mean, I'm glad those guys introduced us to them that night. I got to say they have some good ones. OT right down the road from there has some decent wings.
Yep.
Every once in a while, you can stumble across like a little, like kind of a hole in the wall place.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, wow, these are really good
Our
wings.
golf course here in town has pretty good solid wings. Did I talk about this last time? Have you ever been to Boulder Tap House?
Oh yeah.
Oh baby, that I'm not talking about their wings, but I mean that is a place like if you're in Minnesota,
yep,
and you ain't stopping at Boulder Tap House, you're only robbing yourself. You are only robbing yourself. I think there might be one in Ames, Iowa too.
Oh really?
Yeah. We need to bring one of them to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, because they would clean shop.
Yeah, they would. They would there.
Ooh, I love it. Love it.
Up at Alexandria, at the winery up there, Carlos Creek Winery, they also have a brewery, like the Norseman Brewery right next door to it or something like that. They had some pretty good wings last year when we ate there. Yeah, they kind of like wood fired them and everything like that. So,
if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings right now, what sauce you getting?
I kind of like the Asian zing.
Ooh, yeah, I like Asian zing too.
I'm not a real hot. Like
that's a ways up on the hot scale
right,
for me.
I know for you it is, but I'm also not. I'm the person that like wants to enjoy and taste my food and not just be sitting there like breathing heavy, sweaty, all that stuff where you can't taste anything after that.
They got orange chicken now there.
I saw that.
Ooh, it's good. See, when I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, hey guys, I know that this is a fishing podcast, but we're going to talk wings for just a little bit longer here. When I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I don't order any sauce on my wings.
Well,
I order the traditional wings without any sauce on them, and then I get a little sauce on the side.
Little sauce on the side.
You know, if I go like
couple extra wet naps.
You probably are the type of dude that goes there and gets freaking like 3 boneless wings and a freaking salad
with the sauce on the side.
Yeah, glass of water in a dirty glass. Nope, that's what I get when I go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
No, congratulations, Craig.
Yeah, congratulations.
That might be like the first nicest thing we've done for him on this podcast.
That was all you, man. I think if you had not done so much persuading, I would have probably let Jason Mitchell just go ahead and roll him
and be done with him.
Yep. Next time I hear of Jason Mitchell coming to Sioux Falls for anything, whether it's testing out his Crestliner at Vern Ide Marine, or if it's at the Dakota Angler Ice Institute, or whatever it is, I am making a point to figure out how to get Craig and Jason Mitchell at Cherry Creek, and then right before they start, I'm going to look Jason Mitchell dead in the eyes and say, Matt Deitch says that you're too old and your health ain't good enough to be eating all them wings. And then he's going to put 20 away quick.
Down the hatch.
Down the hatch. All right. Moving along. Like we talked about earlier, NWT this weekend in Chamberlain. I think our buddy 0F's Given Nighthawk Lockwood is going to be fishing it, I think.
I think so.
We really should have done the co-angler deal. That'd have been fun.
Right.
But we didn't because we got jobs. Why do you think that they do the Thursday-Friday deal?
I don't know if they do it so that these people can come out there and pre-fish and they can come the weekend before it and fish up until it's off limits and then fish the tournament. And, instead of having like 2 or 3 extra days out at a place to waste money on pre-fishing, maybe that's part of it.
I don't know. I'd like a Friday, Saturday maybe.
Right.
Then everyone's got Sunday yet to drive home. I could get down with that. But I don't know. Thursday, Friday, I'm just not really for that. If they want to grow it, I feel like they gotta, let fans be there and.
Right. It doesn't set up good for like people that got to travel to get there. As far as like if we wanted to go out to the weigh-in,
right?
Like you said, if it was on a Saturday, I'd be like, heck yeah, we're going out.
Let's drive out there and check it out.
But since on Friday, it's like, well, we can. By the time we get done, the weigh-in's, like you get done with work, the weigh-in's done. So
even if you lived in Chamberlain,
right. I mean, very good point.
Even if you lived in Chamberlain and you got done working at 4 or 5 o'clock or whatever, I mean, you're going to be hard pressed. Maybe you catch part of it, but not much of it. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Seems weird, but I'm sure they have their reasons, and I don't know. I'm not going to take shots at them. Not going to do it. Lake Fork this coming weekend for Bassmaster Elite Series. Get your lineup set.
Get your lineup set for fantasy fishing.
I dropped like a freaking rock last time.
Like a fat kid doing a cannonball off the high dive.
It didn't work. I think I went I honestly, let me take a look here. I think I went from, I think I was in 11th place.
Something like that. You were scratching at the top 10 and you're down in like 27th or something.
25th.
Still better than Stu the Noob because he didn't even set a lineup.
Yeah. Stu, don't do that again. Stu probably don't even listen to this podcast anymore because if he did, he would know. He would have known to do that.
To set his lineup.
But he probably knows that we're taking shots at him almost every single episode, and that ain't going to change. That is not going to change. Apparently, we've been giving Dan Teaslink a lot of shout-outs on these last few episodes. He told me that. So I don't even remember what I would have been saying about about that. But we're going to give a shout out to Dan again. Hey, Dan.
Out there keeping
I
them
went out
roads
fishing
smooth.
at the river today, and Dan actually came down and sat and talked to me for a little while. So there you go, Dan.
There you
Another
go. There's
shout out.
shout out is.
We're going to give a shout out to Thane Jensen and his dad. They went out turkey hunting out in the Black Hills with the wing champion Craigie XL, and they listened to the podcast on the way out there, and Thane said that his dad absolutely thinks it's spectacular.
Awesome.
When we call people dirtbags.
That's right.
So, yeah. Well, thanks, you dirtbag. If you're new to this podcast, I should really clarify this. I should have done this at first. If you're new to this podcast and you're like, what the are these dudes doing calling
What's
everyone
the dirtbag
dirtbags?
thing?
That's not a bad thing.
Nope.
That's a good thing. That's a
Consider
good
that
thing.
a badge of honor.
Yep. I don't even know how it exactly happened, but that's the name for the people that listen to this podcast. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Get it tattooed on your forehead. Be a lifer.
That's right. We'll send you a sticker.
Yeah. You do that, we'll send you a sticker. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
A 3x5 one. If you want
Yeah.
a 5x7, you're gonna have to pay $13 for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, then I don't know. I don't know what you got to get tattooed to get one like that, but
Well, if we're giving shout outs, I'm gonna give a shout out to Corey Brandt.
Corey Brandt, yeah.
Head football coach down in Boyden Hall Rock Valley down there.
The competitors.
That's right. But he's a avid listener to the show. I went down to the track meet here in town a while back and stood out in the field and talked fishing to him quite a while before he had to go back to keep trying to coach his track team. But I think we could have stood there and talked fishing all night long. So
I'll raise you one, Matt. I have been in Corey Brandt's basement numerous times.
Oh, as a Culligan man?
As a Culligan
I was
man.
going to say, that was kind of like, you
That-
might want to lead with that first. and
No,
just be like,
no. I wanted Corey Brandt to think about that for a second. Like, who the is this dude? No, I used to be a Culligan man for like 7 years, and I delivered to Corey on one of his houses, and then he ended up getting a new house, and so I delivered over there. And Corey, you probably don't even remember it, but one time me and you sat and talked turkey hunting, and in your garage, and yeah, whatever, you had just gotten back or just gone turkey hunting. Maybe I had just gotten back or just gone. I don't even remember, but we talked turkey hunting, and yeah, he's an outdoors dude.
Yep, for sure.
A deer hunter, turkey hunter, fisherman. I'm for it. Thanks for listening. So, no, Bassmaster Open down on Douglas Lake,
Right.
and the Northerners freaking like
Did damn well.
dang right. There's 220 boats,
Yeah, that was crazy.
and how many of them? I mean, how many of the top 30 were Northern guys?
There was quite a few. I don't know exactly what the number was.
Well,
I was really hoping that Josh Douglas would get the win on Douglas Lake. He came in a heck of a...
they named the lake after him.
So he came in third, so that was pretty awesome.
Yep.
Shout out to him for doing that.
Won himself $17,600. That's nothing to put your nose up at. Forgive me if I'm getting this name wrong, but Andy Rebar,
Yeah, something like that.
Hribar.
Hribar or something like that.
Hribar. He's a Northern guy. Jay Prescuret.
Zakurik.
Yep. Okay.
His dad is actually on the NWT.
Yeah,
He's a very
yeah.
very well known walleye fisherman.
Yep. Denny Fiedler.
Yep. Another Minnesota guy.
I think Greg Mansfield, who I think is now down. I think he's like a Kansas guy now, but I think
Right.
he's originally from up in Minnesota. I think Joel Willard had a
He's
decent
like 30 something or 20 something. So
yeah, I don't know. A lot of the Northern guys really held their own up there, and for that, hell yeah, brother.
that's awesome.
Hell yeah. Speaking of hell yeah, brother, our buddy Ramrod,
It's back.
back in the US of A, back in Iowa, just as greasy as the day he left.
Right. We both shook his hand, gave him hugs, and then had to go
Slipped.
take a shower.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, old Ramrod is back. Feels good to have that moron back here. Then we always know that we're not the ugliest. We always know we're not the worst fishermen, and now we can start giving him a whole lot of hell on this podcast again. For those of you that have been following along for a long time, you guys all remember the old Ramrod, the old Ramsicle, and yep, Still just as drippy as the day he left. So, nope, good to have him back.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is good seeing him.
Yep. All right, Matt, I got the next thing for you. I feel like we really kind of beat this dead horse, but I was screwing around this weekend. This is crazy. I feel like I might be committing bass fishing social suicide here, but I bought myself some new line counting trolling rods to do a little walleye fishing.
Why don't you go there?
Yep. I didn't go top of the line stuff. I got the Cabela's Troll Master, Depth Master, something like that. I don't know. It's a freaking combo for $69. Then, of course, right after I buy them, they go on sale, $10.09 less for like $59. But whatever, is what it is. But nope, got those, and so I started looking at what else was all in there. I saw Omnia Fishing had a deal on Daiwa Tatula reels, and those were $199 Tatulas. And so I was kind of looking at those, just kind of, just browsing. Just browsing
along.
And I stumbled across some stuff here. Expensive stuff. How much is too much for a reel?
Are you talking about the Stellas? The Daiwa Stellas?
Shimano Stella.
Or Shimano Stellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even have to look, and I knew what you're talking about. Are they still like $700?
$699.99. I want to cuss right now. F you, Shimano. Like, that is a freaking load of absolutely not. Absolute crap. You cannot tell me. I don't care what anyone says, unless that thing is made with straight gold and diamonds. There is nothing in there that makes it worth that much money. Piss on you. Like, I don't know. I ain't got time for it. They're freaking slipping the pickle to the consumer.
The way I look at it, too, is like when I go in there, I guess I'm that type of shopper. Like, I see something like that, and it's just like, why would I buy just that one reel when I could buy 10 rods and reels for the amount of that one reel?
For sure.
So it's been crazy. The crazy thing is that when I used to work at Shields, that's what the Stellas cost back then. They were like $600. I figured that they went up, and I knew some people that had them, and it's just like,
did they catch them?
They caught fish, but just
they
as
weren't
much
that
with
much
anything.
better. No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand like having a light reel and all that stuff over the long day. But there's a lot of cheaper versions that are light too. I mean, no, I've never understood it.
Absolutely not.
I couldn't fish with something like that because I would be like so worried about it. I like to be able to take my stuff and just, if I'm done with the rod, just throw it down on the deck of the boat and go. If I had that, I would make sure that thing was like locked down, like tight anytime I went anywhere.
For sure.
Take it out of the boat every time. I mean, I'd have instead of having a gun safe at my house, I'd have a rod safe in my freaking garage so that they can go.
Seriously.
I mean, that is the cost of a shotgun. Just
for real.
I mean,
you guys, there is something to be said. Like, if you go and you buy Abu Garcia Veritas rod, it is better than your $7 Shakespeare, noodle freaking whatever. I get that. If you go and you buy a Shakespeare reel, with one ball bearing and, a not so good drag system, at your local Walmart for $11.99, and then you go and you get yourself a $99 Shimano reel. I mean, that Shimano reel is gonna be night and day better.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna have the drag to fight fish, whatever. I am sorry. What does that say? I mean, what does that say about your $99 product, Shimano?
Well,
like what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like, you are not using components so much better in that $700. Like,
see, I think that's what I really admire and like really enjoy about the last few years with like the bass fishing scene, the series and stuff. A lot of these guys, they can get this stuff as sponsors, But there's still a lot of them that are running that stuff in the $99 range, that $100 range. I mean, so when you see an Elite Series guy out there having some of those rods on the deck of his boat, it's kind of like, you know what? Even those guys are like, okay, I don't need the $700 reels. And I mean, a lot of them, don't get me wrong, they'll run like the $400, like the Stees and all that stuff. And a lot of that is coming as part of their sponsorship, which rightfully so. And they want those high-end things in those guys' hands because, believe it or not, there are people out there that are just like, oh, that's what he uses?
Oh,
that's
for
what
sure.
That's what I'm buying.
I mean, that's why they're on the pro staff.
But I think, it justifies it to, like, when you see somebody like a Hunter Shyrock out there with a Veritas rod and talking about how much he loves, like, the Vendetta rods. Like, like for this, and the Vendetta rod is like an $80 rod. And, for some people, that's, some people think it's crazy for us to spend that much on a rod. But, I mean, yeah, so.
I mean, if it wasn't for that Berkeley Fisherman Factory outlet, I wouldn't have some of the, and they're what I consider higher end rods. I mean, $100 rod, $100 reel, that I'm turning around and buying for $65 for, the rod and $65 for the reel. There is no freak, like, I kind of fancy myself somebody that spends more money than what I should on gear sometimes. Getting a little bit, a freaking $700, like, I don't know, like, it pissed me off.
Oh,
like,
I know.
I think it's absolute BS. I mean, I get it, whatever. If there's somebody willing to pay it, fine, dandy. I get it. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't know. It pisses me off.
When you start getting products like that, there should be like a no ands, ifs, or buts question lifetime warranty on that thing. Something isn't right on it, they send it in, you send them a new one. Because if somebody's spending that much money, I mean, and you're only getting a limited lifetime warranty or a 3-year warranty on it, it's like, it's definitely not worth it then.
So
I just don't understand it. Like, some of these guys, like, if you throw one of those reels on some of the rods that are out there, I mean, you have a combo that's, almost $1,200 just for one combo.
Right.
That's just insane, if you ask me.
And then you get some of these guys that'll end up having 12 rods on their deck. I mean, dude, you're 12 rods. I mean, you got 20 grand worth of rods and reels on your freaking. I don't know. I think that's clown stuff. So with that being said, let's be honest. Everything in life, I mean, everything is going up, whether it's gas prices or whether it's, I mean, we're sitting here next to some, deer shoulder mounts. Deer shoulder mounts are more money now than what they were 5 years ago. I mean, I've got a TV over there. I don't know. Actually, TVs are kind of going down. That's kind of weird.
It's crazy. Like, I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and it's like TV you can get for like 60. Like, some of these, you see them if they go on sale, like a smart TV and all that stuff. You can get them in like $100-some bucks. It's just like crazy.
Yeah. You want to know what's crazy, Matt? I bought a 42-inch TV. And we'll get back to these reels here in a second, but I bought a 42-inch TV when I graduated high school in 2007. I took my graduation money, and because I got a house not that long after I graduated high school, so I took my graduation money and I went and bought a 42-inch TV, a Sanyo, and I bought it at Walmart on the east side of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and my card got declined when I went to go and pay for it because it was over $1,000, and I had a deal on my card that
limits. Yep.
And your cousin Nikki was along with me, and she had her checkbook along, so she was able to write a check for me, and then I could just pay her back. But it was over $1,000 for a frickin'
42-inch TV.
I mean, that thing weighed 500 pounds. I mean, thing was. I mean, it was thin, like 5-6 inches thick, whatever. But I mean, it was heavier than all hell, and it was over $1,000. You can literally go and buy a 42-inch TV, like you said, $150. Right. Absolutely crazy. But now, whatever. So like I said, everything's getting more expensive. I mean, even Abu Garcia, even Daiwa, all that stuff. Daiwa's got a couple of rods that are up there or reels that are up there in the $400 or $500 range. But Cast King and PC Fun. I don't personally own any of them, But when you look around online, there's a lot of people that have,
Right.
bought them. And there's a lot of people that say, hey, you get what you pay for, whatever. But they've got a couple of those, reels that are in that $80 range and whatnot.
Yeah.
Is there a spot for, is there a spot for companies like that to really grow in the fishing world?
Oh, I think so. I definitely to get into that price point range right there and, kind of dominate it until some of these other companies start to, if that's their high-end reel, that means they're putting in a lot of their effort into that reel. Whereas a lot of these big companies are like, okay, we're just going to make one to throw in there. So
they don't really care about
right,
those.
They're just want to have a $80 reel out there, And so, yeah, it's definitely a spot where some of these companies like that can.
Do you think
really
some
take
of these
charge.
fishing companies have kind of forgotten about those beginners?
They did, but they're starting to all come around because you're starting to see a lot more of these companies that are really starting to put more rods, reels, product out in that price point.
Yeah.
I mean, now, St. Croix.
What is the
St.
ideal
Croix-
price point?
I think, for me, like between that $80 to $120 is a good, like, for a rod. If you want a good quality rod,
Yep,
I mean, if
you're
not
not a beginner,
right,
but you're
and
willing to
it's-
spend some money.
right, and it's something that you can have a few of those on your, in your arsenal. And then the reels, I think anywhere from, Fluger has, with that Fluger President, that's always been in that, that $40 to $60 range, and that's a quality. I mean,
You got
they
one
sell
sitting
it.
right in front of you.
Right, and I have a couple at home. I mean,
That's solid reel.
it is. It really is. So I think anywhere with reels, 50 to that $100 range is. I mean, you're getting a heck of a nice reel and a nice quality reel for that. So
Do you think it? I guess maybe I shouldn't even be talking about this because I'm not really sure, but that $50 to $60 range, I feel like that's really a range, that somebody that's getting into fishing, and feels like, what, I don't want that $15 rod. Like
Right.
I realize that, that is not going to be for me, but I don't know. I really think the $50 to $60, if you can put a decent rod in someone's hands for $50, and they can go out and have a good experience with that rod, I think you can get them to turn around and spend $100.
oh, easily.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if some kid downtown goes and buys a $50 or $60 rod and reel combo at Walmart, and they go down to our river here in town, catch a couple fish, the drag goes good, everything's right. I feel like, a year later, they're like, Abu Garcia, I'm for that. And I feel like they'll turn around and they might spend $100
Right.
then.
I think what helps there too is then, like, when these companies or these bait shops and stuff have a sale, like say this time of year, and now those $100 rods get marked down like 20% or something like that. So they are down there in that $70 range. So now it's like, okay, I'm going to buy a couple of these because, they are really nice and I've used them before. And I mean, we've all started with different things. And like you said, it just always is a progression up. But there's ultimately, everybody has a ceiling where it's like, that's it. I'm not paying any more for something like that.
I do not think that I could really truly spend much more. I mean, if I really was going to treat myself, if I had $1,000 and somebody said, Scott, go buy fishing rods and reels with $1,000, and it was like, all right, whatever. I truly think I would probably buy that $150 rod and $100 reel,
Right. Yeah.
just to really treat myself. There ain't no way in hell I'd go over $250.
Right. It'd be tough to do that. It really would.
I feel like at $250, that's a rod and reel combo that I'm gonna feel is special, but I'm not afraid to throw that in the back of my truck.
Right.
Like, ain't no freaking way in hell. Like, if you got a $1,400 combo, like, I wouldn't even let you look at it.
That's right.
I wouldn't even let you look at it.
I wouldn't even want to be like the person that accidentally like steps on the rod or like, yeah.
Right? Oh my God.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you step on the eyelet of one of my rods, like it's, I mean, honestly, I'll be like, God,
Right. It
son of a
frustrates you.
whatever. But like, let's be honest, like 15 minutes later, it's like, all right, like I'm over that. Like, whatever. You frickin' step on the eyelet of a $500 rod, and it's like
it's a long walk home.
It's
a long walk home.
Right? Like,
forget about gas money.
I would frickin' drown Ramrod. Like, drown him right then and there. He'd be done, dead. All right. Well, that's that. I don't know. You got anything else to talk about, or are you ready to move to good news stories? We're in 55 minutes, so we're not.
We can go right into good news stories. I got 2 of them.
You got 2 of them?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can guess one of yours.
Well, you probably know what it is.
Grandpa Bill?
Yep.
All right. Let him have it.
Grandpa Bill, 95 years old today.
95 freaking years old. How
95.
badass is that?
Living at home, living his,
still drinking spicy beers.
Still drinking spicy beers. That was this past.
Tell us about that day today. Tell us about
the day today.
Yeah.
Oh, we went up.
I mean, that's a Minnesota deal right there.
Oh, that's like one of them family traditions. Every year we get together and grind up our deer meat and mix up some different flavors of ground deer and do it at Grandpa's basement. Grandpa and Grandma's basement. I would love to know what the number of deer that have been butchered down there and fish that have been cleaned down there and pheasants and ducks and geese and stuff like that, because
with an Ellsworth, Minnesota education, you can't count that out.
Well, we proved that last week. But I mean, whenever we'd have stuff like that, we'd always go to Grandpa and Grandma's basement and clean it down there. And so we did that, and some of my aunts and uncles were there today, some cousins and stuff, just to see Grandpa on his 95th birthday. And
your brothers?
Brothers were there. Mike and Brandt were both there.
Mike and Brandt.
Yeah, and Dad helped. Usually we like to do it when Dad's not helping, because he kind of gets in the way and tries to take charge.
That's not true.
And we got to say, hey, Dad, just we do this every year. We know what we're doing. Just calm down, Joe.
Wait till one of these times where he turns around and he puts that knife up in the air and he says, Matt, you freaking watch it.
I've got many backhands from Dad in my day.
What was the best slam that was said today?
The best slam that was said today.
Come on, you can't say that you didn't get one on Brandt.
Well, no, I got Mike a few times.
All right, let's hear it.
Just because he's been having some back issues and stuff like that lately, and I just like, I told him, you gar hold us because you set the meat out a little too early and got it a little, so we had to do some extra work on it, and you just weren't here yet, so you knew what we were doing.
Because that back has been hurting.
Because he knew what he was doing, so.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Shots like that.
Yep.
I guess I got one good one on Grandpa, because Grandpa was sitting there. He just recently got into reading. 95 years old. He kind of he's taken up reading now, books. Never really was a big book fan, and he was telling us about the one book that he was in. He's like, yeah, it happened in Sioux Falls, and you ever heard of it? And kind of kept going on with it. And I was like, yeah, Grandpa, I've heard of Sioux Falls before. And he stopped and he looked at me and he goes, yeah, I suppose you have heard of Sioux Falls before, haven't you? So, no, it's just crazy. 95 years old, and he's still getting around, hoping to take him out fishing here one of these weekends, because he doesn't have much fish in the freezer for our Deitch fish fry. So,
oh boy.
So he asked my dad, and he said, let's go fishing. So
let's go change that. Hell yeah.
So that's my first one. And my second one is going out to Buzz Van Breezen.
Buzz Van Breezen. Did he win the co-angler?
He won the co-angler of the first Iowa Great Lakes Bass Tournament of the year. He's been fishing in the club for 13 years, I believe is what BJ said, and that's the first time he's won.
Really? Awesome.
So I thought that was pretty awesome that he got the co-angler championship in their first tournament of the year, and just stick with it and keep plugging away, and bam.
Yeah, that's a Bassin family right there. Good dudes.
So yours?
My good news story is going to go out to I believe it's Officer Lems here on the Rock Rapids Lyon County Sheriff's Department. The other day, me and Aubrey were down at the river. I think Grady was along too. I'm not even 100% sure on that. I think it was me, Grady, and Aubrey down at the river. Aubrey had cast it out, got a snag, and I looked down there and I saw that Aubrey was snagged up or whatever, and so I slowly kind of started reeling in, and next thing you know, I see an officer that I've never seen this guy before in my life, but I think he's from down in Dune. Iowa originally, but I don't know where he's living now. But blah, blah, blah. He came walking down on the trail, got up next to Aubrey and helped her, kind of, was messing around with the rod, kind of grabbed the line, whatever. And he actually got down on his hands and knees and reached down into the water and got Aubrey's lure unstuck. And I just thought, you know what?
That's awesome.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a crap what side of, whatever. But there are good cops out there. And
Heck yeah.
So I don't know. It was just cool to see that because he didn't have to do, he didn't have to put in that much effort.
Exactly right.
I mean, he could have just said, oh yeah, well that sucks, and he could have kept walking, but he didn't. And so whatever. I thought it was awesome. So that's my good news story of the week. Don't pull me over, Mr. Limbs. Don't pull me over. If he ever does, I'm going to say, hey, you listen here. You go back and listen to episode 120 of the Midwest Angler Podcast and go all the way to the end, and you'll hear that I gave you a shout-out. So you rip that ticket up. I think it'll work.
I think so, too. It's a good way to get out of a ticket.
All right, guys. That's episode 120. We will see you next week on episode 121. Later.